Welcome to the debate. When you build a car, the assembly line is basically predictable physics.
Right.
You can measure every second, every ounce of steel, and every fractional improvement in the speed of a robotic arm. But what happens when that assembly line is actually a highly complex software pipeline, and the final product isn't a vehicle but a 3D animated film?
Yeah, it gets a lot messier.
Exactly. So today we are looking at what happens when you drop artificial intelligence right into the middle of that deeply subjective process. We are unpacking the technical structure of modern animation and asking a central question. Does AI genuinely improve the overall efficiency of production?
Which is a massive question because, measuring creative efficiency is notoriously tricky. We're looking at some incredible network data analysis today that maps out a 4-stage animation pipeline. And my read on this data is that the perceived efficiency gains of AI are just massively overstated. The creative process resists purely quantitative measurement, and dumping AI into the mix introduces entirely new, really hidden complexities in how teams actually have to work together.
I hear that, I do. But I'm looking at the exact same data and seeing something entirely different. The math shows AI is systematically speeding everything up. It's an undeniable, quantifiable enhancement across the whole pipeline.
You really think so?
Yes! It's optimizing resource allocation, and it's basically smashing through traditional technical bottlenecks.
Well, to really get into why we see this so differently, I think we have to establish what this pipeline actually looks like.
Oh, absolutely. If you're listening to this and picturing like a traditional artist sitting at a drawing tablet, sketching frame by frame, you have to realize that modern 3D animation is actually much closer to software engineering.
Yeah, it's highly technical.
We aren't just drawing pictures anymore. We are building simulated realities from scratch.
Exactly. You have a modeling stage to build the actual 3D geometry of a character or an environment.
Right.
Then a rigging stage, which is basically inserting a complex mathematical skeleton into that geometry so it can actually move.
Which takes forever.
It really does. Then you've got lighting, where you are literally placing digital lamps to simulate real-world photon bounces. And finally, rendering, to compute all of that physics into a 2D image. It is heavy, highly intricate computational labor.
Which is exactly why AI is such a big deal here. Up until now, the industry has had, isolated software upgrades, like a slightly faster rendering engine here or a better sculpting brush tool there.
Sure.
But AI is the first technological leap offering holistic improvements across that entire production pipeline. If you look at the network data environment analysis, the NDA model mapping this out, it looks at 3 core inputs at every single stage.
Right, personnel, time, and...
Personnel allocation, production time, and AI usage hours. By measuring those inputs, the numbers clearly show AI directly optimizing the workflow.
Okay, but you laid out the complexity of that 3D pipeline perfectly. But that complexity is exactly why measuring efficiency in this context is so precarious.
How so?
Well, animation is this weird, unique blend of standardized technical processes and deeply subjective artistic creation.
Right.
NDAA is a fantastic analytical framework if you're evaluating rigid systems like, say, a shipping logistics network. But look closely at the inputs they're using here. The primary metric for AI's contribution is AI usage hours.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Does it? Because AI tools are completely fragmented right now. You've got people generating concepts in Midjourney, doing motion capture and proprietary plugins, using entirely different AI renderers. There is no unified tracking software recording this data.
So they rely on human-reported hours?
Exactly. It's based on subjective estimations by project managers. While AI performs exceptionally well with tasks that have clear mathematical parameters, creative and conceptual work relies heavily on human expertise.
Well, sure.
So if a manager says a team used AI for 40 hours, the math assumes 40 hours of efficiency. But what if those 40 hours were incredibly frustrating, disruptive hours?
I get the skepticism, but the use of NDE is what makes this analysis so robust, despite that fragmentation.
I'm not sure I follow.
Let me offer an analogy to explain how this math actually works, because it's brilliant. Think of NDEI like tracking power distribution in a complex energy grid.
Okay.
In a power grid, you don't just measure the coal going into the plant and the light bulb coming on in your house. You measure the voltage at every single substation along the way.
Right, to find the drops.
Exactly. NDA allows us to do exactly that for animation. It breaks the pipeline into 4 distinct substations: pre-production, asset creation, animation production, and post-production. It allows a studio to pinpoint the exact bottleneck at any given station and objectively reallocate resources.
That is a great analogy for the framework, but here is the problem. An energy grid pushes electrons, and electrons are perfectly uniform.
Sure.
Creative outputs are not uniform. What is the output of the concept phase? A character design that, just feels right?
But it's still a tangible output.
Is it? Let's really interrogate that AI usage hours metric at one of your substations. If a project manager estimates a concept artist spent 30 hours using generative AI this week, NDA registers that as high AI usage.
Right.
The mathematical model inherently assumes that high AI usage correlates with the final output. But producing volume is not the same as producing value.
I see what you're getting at. But if they are utilizing the tool for 30 hours, they are generating vastly more material than they could by hand.
Yeah, quantity.
But they might generate 100 concept variations in an afternoon. That is a tangible, usable output.
Right, but we know these models hallucinate, they generate artifacts, they lack temporal consistency.
True, but
So if an artist spends 2 hours generating an incredibly cool character concept with AI, but then has to spend 28 hours meticulously correcting AI-generated errors,
like what?
like a hand with 6 fingers, or a jacket that structurally makes no sense in 3-dimensional space, just to make that asset usable for the modeling department, the NDEA model just sees 30 hours of AI usage.
Okay, I see your point.
It looks like AI is driving the process, when in reality, the human is expending massive amounts of friction-filled labor to essentially domesticate the AI's output. High AI usage hours might actually be a metric of extreme inefficiency.
Okay, I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning, because it assumes the weighting in the model is arbitrary.
Well,
But the NDEA model weights each stage based on the proportion of total resources consumed. And the outputs aren't just feelings. The pre-production stage outputs are rigorously quantified by the number of usable concept designs and storyboard shots that actually move down the pipeline.
but a storyboard shot isn't a standardized unit of work. One storyboard shot might take 10 minutes to sketch because it's a static, over-the-shoulder dialogue scene.
Sure.
Another might take 3 days to conceptualize because it's a dynamic, multi-character action sequence with complex camera moves. Counting the number of concept designs generated by AI is exactly the trap of treating art like an assembly line.
But
When an AI generates 50 concepts, it isn't making creative decisions. It is producing visual noise based on statistical probabilities.
visual noise?
Yes, it's an aggregate of its training data. The human artist now carries this immense cognitive load of curation.
Right.
They have to sift through that noise, find the elements that work, composite them, and impose actual narrative intent onto them. Is the AI truly generating usable conceptual foundations, or is it just shifting the artist's role from creator to curator?
Well,
Because if it's the latter, you aren't saving time. You're just changing the nature of the labor. You still need a human's highly developed aesthetic judgment to know which of the 50 AI generations is actually fundamentally good.
But that is exactly what drives the efficiency.
How?
That shift you just described from technical executor to curator is a massive upgrade in capability. Let's look at how these outputs actually flow through the pipeline, because this is where the efficiency goes from theoretical to highly practical.
Okay.
The data shows that efficiency improvement is incredibly pronounced in the pre-production phase. Why? Because of what the model calls non-immediate successor flows.
Right, where they adapt the standard serial structure of the math.
Yes. In a traditional pipeline, stage 1 goes to stage 2, which goes to stage 3. It's perfectly linear.
You can't animate a character until you've built the character asset.
Obviously.
But this data shows that with AI, outputs from one stage can bypass intermediate stages entirely.
I know the model claims this, but I think we need to understand practically how skipping a stage actually works in 3D animation, because it sounds impossible if you don't know the workflow.
Okay, let's walk through a concrete example. Let's say you have a 5-second action shot of a character running down an alley and jumping over a brick wall.
Okay, classic action shot.
In a traditional pipeline, the director draws the storyboard in stage 1. Then everything stops for that shot. Stage 2, the asset creation team, has to spend 3 weeks modeling, texturing, and rigging the high-resolution character and the brick wall.
Right.
Only when that is completely finished can Stage 3, the animators, actually start making the character run and jump.
Because the animators literally have nothing to manipulate until the rigger gives them the digital puppet.
Precisely. But with AI, we get non-immediate successor flows. In Stage 1, the director uses an AI tool to instantly generate 3D spatial layouts and basic rigged stand-in geometry based on a text prompt or a rough sketch.
The blockouts.
Yes. Those AI-generated blocks bypass Stage 2 entirely and feed directly into Stage 3. The animators can immediately start blocking out the timing of the run and the jump using the AI stand-ins.
While the other team is working.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the asset creation team is still taking their 3 weeks to build the beautiful high-res final character. The timeline doesn't just speed up, it physically compresses.
Yeah. The stages overlap in ways that were previously impossible without burning through massive budgetary overhead.
I mean, that is the dream scenario. And conceptually, the idea of non-immediate successor flows is brilliant. But you are describing a frictionless vacuum.
Frictionless?
Yes.
Let's talk about the reality of those AI stand-ins interacting with human workflows. The data clearly states that AI tools are most effective in tasks with clear parameters and measurable outcomes.
Right.
Concept generation and spatial layout are the least standardized phases of the entire process. If the AI generates a stand-in layout that is mathematically flawed, say the digital scale is off by just a few digital centimeters,
Okay, but
the animators spend weeks perfecting the timing of that jump. Then, when the high-res wall finally arrives from Stage 2, the character's feet clip right through the bricks.
But even if we assume human curation and dimensional tweaking takes some time, you can't ignore the sheer democratization this brings, especially the smaller studios.
Sure, democratization is a factor.
Let's look at the actual physics of character rigging, which we mentioned earlier. Historically, rigging was a massive technical barrier. You have a 3D model, which is basically a hollow shell made of thousands of polygons.
Right.
A rigger has to go in and paint weights on every single polygon to tell the computer exactly how much that specific piece of digital skin should stretch when the elbow bends. It is painstaking, deeply technical work.
It's incredibly tedious, and if the topology, like the underlying mathematical flow of those polygons, is messy, the rig breaks entirely. The mesh literally collapses in and on itself when the character moves.
Exactly, but now AI-driven systems are automating that topology generation and character rigging. Furthermore, small teams can now use consumer-level cameras to capture human actors.
Oh, the video to mocap stuff.
Right. AI algorithms translate that video data directly into 3D motion capture, instantly mapped onto the AI-generated rig. We are talking about tasks that used to require $1 million motion capture stage and a team of technical directors to clean up the data.
Yeah, that part is impressive.
Small teams and educational projects, which the data highlights as showing massive efficiency leaps, can now produce high-quality character animation that competes with industry giants. This isn't just shaving off 10 minutes. It's making previously impossible projects possible.
I completely acknowledge the accessibility aspect. It is a powerful, democratizing force for a small indie team. But the moment you scale this up to a mid-sized studio, you hit the hidden costs that this structural data actually warns about.
Which costs?
The immense challenge of workflow organization.
Well, reorganization is just a reality of the industry. I mean, going from 2D hand-drawn animation to 3D computer graphics completely upended studios in the 90s.
True, but the transition to AI is uniquely chaotic because the tools themselves are black boxes and they update almost weekly.
That's fair.
Think about a medium-sized studio trying to integrate this. They now have to navigate this incredibly incredibly precarious balance. They have to invest heavily in AI capabilities, subscribing to new platforms, buying advanced hardware, training staff on tools that might literally be obsolete in 6 months.
But the payoff.
And simultaneously, they have to maintain traditional animation expertise because, as we just discussed with the clipping brick wall, the AI still produces errors that only a traditionally trained technical artist knows how to fix.
And the NDAA methodology captures this dynamic. It maps personnel allocation. The numbers show that when staff were distributed correctly between AI management and traditional cleanup, the overall production time decreases.
When allocated correctly is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
Oh, come on.
I'm serious. The reality of integrating these subjective AI tools into complex team structures creates immense operational friction. You have traditional 3D modelers who now have to interface with AI prompt engineers.
It's a learning curve.
You have extended technology acceptance models showing that getting veteran artists to actually use these AI-based systems is notoriously difficult. Artists naturally resist tools that strip away their granular creative control. So you might save 50 hours by using AI motion capture, but you lose 60 hours in cross-departmental miscommunication and morale drops because the traditional animators are spending all their time cleaning up jittery AI data instead of actually animating.
Okay, what you're describing is transitionary friction. The NDA data we are evaluating spans from March 2023 to July 2024.
Right. Even in this incredibly turbulent transitional period, with all the organizational friction you just accurately described, the mathematical model indicates overall efficiency improvements.
Overall?
Yes, and if we look at the final stage, post-production, AI's impact is undeniably quantitative and mathematically sound.
Okay, I will absolutely concede that in post-production, AI shines, because the tasks there are highly mathematical.
Right. Take smart denoising. When a computer renders a 3D scene, it's literally shooting millions of digital light rays into the scene and calculating how they bounce, scatter, and absorb into different materials.
It's massive computation.
Doing that perfectly takes huge computational time. If you do it quickly, the image comes out looking grainy, full of visual noise. Traditional studios had to spend fortunes on server farms just to let computers crunch the math for days to get a clean image.
Yeah.
But AI denoising algorithms are trained to understand what that grainy image should look like. They instantly predict and fill in the missing pixel data. The AI calculates the scatter of light through digital fog in a fraction of the time. It drastically reduces rendering timelines.
No argument there. Smart denoising, auto-compositing, color correction, these are brilliant applications of AI because they operate on clear parameters.
Exactly.
My contention is with the premise of the core argument, that AI significantly enhances the overall production efficiency from start to finish.
But it does.
When you average out the undeniable, mathematically clean gains in post-production rendering, with the murky, unquantifiable friction of pre-production concepting and mid-stage asset creation, the holistic picture is much less clear than a simple upward graph.
I disagree.
We are treating efficiency as a purely operational metric, ignoring that in a creative industry, the process itself deeply influences the artistic quality of the product.
But they aren't ignoring quality. The NDA model specifically integrates a quality score at the very end of the pipeline.
Right, the 100-point scale.
Yes. They look at final video length and a 100-point scale evaluating the visual quality based on audience and expert feedback. They built the framework specifically to capture this dual nature, standardized output and artistic creation.
Integrating a subjective 100-point score into a mathematical framework doesn't magically make this score objective. It just mathematically disguises the subjectivity.
That's a bit cynical.
If an expert gives a film an 85 instead of a 90 because the characters felt a bit lifeless, how does the NDEA model calculate the exact causal correlation between that 5-point drop and the fact that a manager logged 80 AI usage hours back in stage 2?
It can't, not with true causal certainty.
It establishes a correlation based on aggregating data across multiple diverse projects. It's a tool for decision-making, Studios are flying blind right now.
True. They need data-driven support to know where to allocate their shrinking budgets. Should they hire more conceptual artists or invest in an AI spatial layout tool? By mapping the pre-production, asset creation, animation, and post-production, and proving out mechanics like non-immediate successor flows, studios can finally visualize their own operational mechanics.
The map is useful provided it accurately reflects the territory.
Right.
My concern is that by hyper-focusing on these operational efficiency metrics, studios might optimize the soul right out of their workflows. We might end up with incredibly fast pipelines that produce perfectly rendered, completely derivative content, because the engine running it is ultimately trained only on what has already been done.
That's a real fear. But even with our disagreements on the hidden costs, I do think there's a strong point of convergence here.
Yeah.
We both see exactly what the data points toward regarding the human element. AI is fundamentally transforming the role of the animator.
Absolutely.
The days of the animator as purely a technical executor, someone whose primary value is manually painting weights on polygons, those days are fading. The future belongs to animators who act as higher-level creative directors.
I agree entirely. The essential skill set is undeniably shifting from technical manipulation to editorial judgment. You have to be an expert curator of these complex systems.
Exactly.
Where we remain deeply divided is whether our current quantitative metrics, like NDEA, can truly capture the operational friction and the creative cost of that massive transition.
It is a profound challenge. As we reflect on this, it really highlights the immense value of examining both the hard operational data and the qualitative human factors when evaluating technological shifts in any creative industry.
It really does. It forces us to ask what we are actually valuing when we measure a creative process.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, a 3D animation studio is not a physical assembly line. You can't just measure the speed of the conveyor belt.
Right.
When the raw material is human imagination and the tools are thinking machines, trying to measure the efficiency of that combination with operational metrics is like trying to clock the speed of a software update by weighing the computer. You're using a physical measurement for an invisible transformation.